Hey, podcast people. Kind of sounded like Krusty the Clown there. Krusty the Clown. Here's my April Fool's joke. Uh, we're just reviewing the test right now, factoring exam, and I'm going to give questions that's based on the factoring exam on the whiteboard because it's way quicker. So if you're not here, please get somebody to take a picture of what we did on the whiteboard today just for extra review questions. And then we're going to work on our, I don't think I can do it because that's only, we'll see. This is factoring test review. What have we done so far before the midterm? Well, first is factoring. Next was radicals. Next is Francis Schmig. Trig. Good job. So 3 units to concentrate on. Measurement is part of trig because we're measuring size and angles. And so I think what I decided, podcast people, is I'm going to write on the whiteboard because we just do 2 times as much in class. And I will write the questions down for you while they're working on them. And then you're going to have to get the answers or ask me questions or ask anyone you know in class for the answers, because we will be correcting them today. Pause, pause, pause. Bless you, bless you. Okay. Let's go, podcast people. I'm just going to write down the questions that came from the math test. And let's go here. So we just corrected these. I'm not going to give you the answers. Let's just talk about terminology. So one factor of x squared subtract x subtract 42. Okay, so this is a sum product question because it starts with x squared. So once you find the 2 numbers that multiplied in negative 42 and add to negative 1, you just put them in the brackets. Next question from the test was, or a very similar question, is what's the common factor of 2x squared subtract 5x subtract 12? This one you're going to decomp. And you're going to difference of squares this one. X squared subtract 16, 1 square root, 1 addition, 1 subtraction. And then if you get something like this and the other one like this, then the common factor is going to be the bracket, the factor they have in common. So that's what common factor means. One of the factors, you just have to understand that for A, one of the factors is the first bracket and one of the factors is the second bracket. We did C, which these are just factor questions. So this is xy subtract 4xz plus, subtract 12t z plus 3ty, and you're just going to group that. So right after you decompose, reset because you can't see that negative sign. So that's a z. So just slice and dice that one and take the GCF of the first 2 terms and the GCF of the last 2 terms. Most of decomp for there. D, you guys can certainly look into your books to do these questions. Factor this one. This is the last step of decomp. Just take it out and write down the leftovers into the second bracket, whatever's not x subtract 3. E, I love this one. 8m squared subtract 16 muchacho subtract 960 AM radio, which is what I always listen to. So this is a GCF. First you got to take an 8 out, or you're going to get some really big numbers on decomp, and then you'll have to take the GCF out anyway, which no one does, and then some product question. Okay, so divide everything by 8 first. Keep the 8 outside the brackets. You guys still working on this? Almost? Okay. And then this is what we're working on now. F find the area of this rectangle. G, find the area of this rectangle. This side is x subtract 5. And H, find the area of the shaded part. And then this inside the rectangle is x subtract 7, and this is x. Although I guess it'd be the other way around. My bad, guys. That should be the opposite, because x is bigger than x subtract 7. Oh well. And so area of the shaded, you want to do the area of the big rectangle subtract the area of the small rectangle. And then make sure when you have something like this, in fact, you guys can take a peek. When you have this, subtract this, you have to distribute the subtraction sign to each term. Okay, podcast people, go ahead and work away. And again, I'm not going to give you the answers because it's just we need to work in class as well. But those are the questions. You can get the answers from any classmate or confirm it with me at some point. Pause, pause, pause. Hey, podcast people, thanks for your hard work. Here's some more from the test. Area soccer field is 25x squared, subtract 81. A, find length and width. B, find the dimensions, which means length and width. If x equals 5 meters. And C, find the perimeter of the soccer field that the Knights are running around their opponent. Final score 11-0. Knights! Woo! Good job. And here's a numerical response question. 8x subtract 5 times 2x plus 6 simplifies to ax squared subtract bx plus c. And two things I want you to do here. I want you to find a subtract b, and the second thing I want you to do is find bc. Look west. Pause, pause, pause. Okay, podcast people, Merry Christmas. Here's some more. Numeric response 2 is a goodie. Subtracting the product of 2 times 3x subtract 5 times 3x plus 5 from product 3x subtract 1 times 2x squared subtract 4x plus 3 results in ax cubed subtract bx squared plus cx plus dingleberry. Find a plus b plus c plus d, and 2, find a subtract b. I did tell the class that the answer for the first one is 98, right? 96. 98. 98. MT didn't know the answer, so she asked me. So I figured it out in my head. No, that answer is thanks to MT. All right, podcast people, I think we're done. When you're done this question, then go to our Google Classroom, and review assignment number 1 is due tomorrow, first thing in class. So once you're done it, please scan it and send it to me, and I'll give you marks on your midterm, podcast people. And you guys in class people, I'm looking and talking to you. Review assignment number 1 is due tomorrow. Work marks on your midterm, the whole thing. Factoring, radicals, and trig. Podcast people, I just gave a hint. If you're working on your review assignment number 1, if you do number 2? Yeah. Nope, number 3 where it says simplify. If you do every second question, it might be easier because every second question is a radical question, and then after you do that, every second question is a factoring question. It's up to you. J.O. out. Have a great Monday. Ha ha ha.